This is the Amazfit Cheetah and the Coros Pace Pro. Well, the boxes for them anyway. But both sport AMOLED displays, both are lightweight runners, both offer tons of activity tracking and monitoring, both promise long battery life. Now, don't be mistaken, this ain't no comparison battle by any means. I just wanted to spotlight among two of the best featherweight running and multi-sport activity smartwatches at two different price ranges. But anyways, let's find out which of these is best for you. The Amazfit Cheetah is $150 or $180 if you get the Cheetah Pro version. The Coros Pace Pro, on the other hand, retails for $350. For the first time ever, the Coros has an AMOLED display. It's a 1.3 inch, 1500 nits, so it's great for outdoors, but most of the time in standard use, it feels a little bit dimmer than the Amazfits. Now, on the other hand, the Amazfit has a larger 1.4 inch 1000 nits display. In terms of water resistance, both of these are rated at 5 ATM 50 meters. Now on the rear, in terms of sensors for the Amazfit, we have just two: optical heart rate as well as a PPG sensor. And then on the Amazfit, we have optical heart rate, PPG thermometer, and an ECG sensor as well. You can see the battery charger or battery charging port for the Amazfit is their proprietary charger right there. It unfortunately does not or isn't compatible with previous versions. They look alike, but I don't know why they did that. I wish they had kept it the same or something. Same thing with the Amazfit, the charging, it's a magnetic charger, and it's all proprietary as well. When it comes to battery life, just using these as regular watches, stock biometric tracking, no workouts whatsoever, notifications off, always on display, and race to wake on, the Pace Pro hits 9.3 days and the Cheetah gets about 7.7 days. Add a 1 hour GPS enabled workout per day, email and text notifications turn on. The Pace Pro manages 7.8 hours and 6.1 days on the Cheetah. The Amazfit weighs 32 grams thanks to its fiber polymer body as well as bezel. The Coros, on the other hand, is 49 grams, a little bit heavier with its stock silicone band. If you get the optional nylon band, it drops the weight down to 37 grams. But if you want something lighter still than either of these options, there is the 29 gram Coros Pace 2. Now, neither of these devices support N+ connectivity anymore, only Bluetooth 5.3 based accessories. The Amazfit is built really nice. It has 22mm straps, replaceable, same thing with the Coros. On the back here, you can see a slight raised bump for the sensor array. It does leave a mark on your wrist, unlike the Coros, which is flatter. We'll look at it in a second. But on board, for example, we have a single mic. There are no speakers on this, so you can't make phone calls, but you can initiate voice commands to the Aura AI assistant. So on the Coros side, there's no mics and no speakers, so that's something to take into account. But anyways, the build on this thing is superior. It just feels so much nicer in the hand. And again, as you can see, the sensor array has a much less pronounced bump on the back here. Again, not a fan of the charger port or the charging cable accessory thing, that it's not compatible with the other generations. That is a huge bummer to me. If clean lines are your thing, go with the Coros. For a more rugged looking, lower profile, go with the Amazfit. The Cheetah has this raised bezel to protect the unnamed glass, whereas Coros' screen, also an unnamed glass, is flusher, so if it kisses face down on the ground, it won't be fun, I'll tell you what. The crown and button are a delight to use on the Pace Pro though. They feel just way more expensive, as they should, and also jive really well with haptics. On the Cheetah, I did find that the bottom button press action sticky at times, which frustratingly, like right now, it leads to a lot of missed key presses. As a whole, both are comfortable to wear like all day, guys. Technically, the Cheetah's slightly flatter, wider body has a lower center of gravity against your wrist for what it's worth. But with your strap tightness dialed in, neither of these should bother you all day long. Now, that being said, I did experience hot spots and irritation caused by the Amazfit strap. Your mileage may vary, of course. Regardless of whether I wore this left or right-handed or higher up on my arm against the Coros when I did side-by-sides, I got the exact same pressure points where the last free loop meets the skin. And if you think that's a fluke, I experienced pretty much the same thing with the strap on the T-Rex 3 that I tested recently, only less so. So in my case, it's less Amazfit and more okay fit. In terms of usability, Coros works well. Once you learn how to access Toolbox and navigate the activity menu, they get committed to muscle memory pretty quickly. From there, the Pace Pro has a visually appealing user interface, providing quite a bit more granular info like within activities and weather than the Cheetah does. So there's less of a need to hit up the app on your phone to check the information that you need. However, I personally believe that the OS is optimized for LCD and single-line scrolling still. As Coros introduces better touchscreens along with the visual punch of OLED displays, the OS decidedly feels older gen. Feeling clunky in places, certain functions are prioritized for physical controls only rather than touch, plus with inconsistent momentum scrolling behavior that varies throughout the UI. Amazfit's interface is decidedly more mainstream looking, almost like a Google Wear OS Lite, if you may. There's emphasis on data cards and carousels, and for the most part, menus are logically arranged. Now, one thing I'm not sure why Coros hasn't done so, but Amazfit and other brands, like, they give you access to quick settings with a simple swipe down from the home screen. Heck, there's not even a flashlight mode on the Coros, for goodness sake, so yeah. I mean, it's not a huge knock, but I thought I'll mention it anyway. This one's an important section. GPS lock, for example, is lightning quick on either devices, almost always taking under 10 seconds outdoors. The Pace Pro frequently obtains lock a good 2 seconds quicker for what it's worth. At speed, like on a bike, its GPS outperforms all other Coros smartwatches I've tried so far, staying pretty close to my route, whereas the other models would occasionally like trip out, showing me in the middle of someone's living room, for example, or going off-roading in the bushes. Now, helping matters a lot too is that the watch finally brings turn-by-turn navigation, which pairs perfectly with the fantastic GPS and really helps with things like trail and cross-country running. For the record, the Cheetah, say that 5 times really fast, the Cheetah can also do turn-by-turn thanks to an update about 6 months ago or thereabouts, if I remember correctly. When it comes to biometrics, both are impressively precise, although both aren't perfect either. For example, the Coros seems to waver with heart rate readings from time to time whenever there are quick transitions between workout stages, like say from lower intensity, steady state, and then to anaerobic transitions and then back. The Cheetah, on the other hand, inflates sleep time by 20 minutes about 3 days a week, which isn't very useful. Now, step tracking is consistent, although when compared to a dedicated pedometer, the Amazfit once again inflates the numbers, usually coming in around 275-300 steps greater per hour. This thing is not as bad, maybe like 50 under the pedometer. And finally, this might seem like a small thing, but is a big deal for some folks. Amazfit has auto detection for 8 basic activities, while the Coros doesn't at all. Come on, guys. What we have here is the Zepp app on the left and the Coros app on the right. They're generally easy to navigate once you orient yourself to the amount of data and submenus you can drill down to. They both allow you to keep it simple if you want, but have enough to keep data crunchers happy. I've covered Amazfit's app over the years, and dude, it's definitely evolved from like some kind of haphazard copycat to a well-oiled, attractive, and comprehensive software. If you've used recent mid-budget to high-end Amazfits, you essentially get the same app experience if you're wondering. At the home screen, both display pretty much identical bio data, training and recovery statuses. Zepp has extra things like its own PAI score and a very useful food calorie log along like lines of MyFitnessPal if you're used to that app. Zepp has also adopted its own AI health assistant called Aura, and like most AI integrations nowadays, I don't find it super useful. Coros, on the other hand, has stayed away from that trend, and I hope it stays that way because guess what? Coros users get to leverage real coaches if they need extra guidance. A couple of potential useful features too in the Coros app are gear tracking and group tracking. Gear tracking is for logging shoes or bikes that you use for your workouts and tracks how many miles you put on them and when you might need to replace or service them. I think it would be cool if Coros collabed with like big brands for this feature. Just imagine if your Cannondale Synapse or Nike Vaporflies reminded you through the app when they needed attention at specific distances or time intervals. Now, group tracking is a new feature where you can form a team of athletes so each member can view the live location of all other team members along with their activity data in the Coros app. And even cooler is that any team member can send an emergency alert to others to request assistance if they need to. Obviously, these belong in completely different ends of the price spectrum, but it's hard not to compare the two when placed side by side like we're doing today. Is the Coros twice as good as the Cheetah, or Cheetah Pro for that matter? Well, if your core usage for the Pace Pro involves running, cycling, swimming, and by extension triathlon, training and pre-race prep and prediction, post-training and post-race analytics, live coaching and community support through the subscription-free training hub, then I would say yes. I have to add though that for a Coros product, the Pace Pro breaks the mold for being pricier than previous versions. But against competitors like the Garmin 265, 965, and Polar Vantage 3, it's a comparative bargain. Now, if you don't need deep training analytics or coaching, a slightly less capable sensor and GPS array, arguably, need a little actual smartwatch smarts, then the Cheetah, especially the Pro, is your gem. It's just crazy how much Amazfit put into this for the price. The Pace Pro heralds Coros' conversion to AMOLED displays for the rest of its lineup, and I would say it's about bloody time, and I can't wait to see what the rest have to offer. I also appreciate that the GPS, heart rate, and sleep tracking are perceivably better than before, and I enjoy Coros' commitment to feature drops once every few months. If you're a hardcore runner or triathlete, this thing would be it. Now, the OS could use a serious makeover, but otherwise the Pace Pro is a solid piece of kit. I still can't get over the fact that the Cheetah Pro is half the price of the Coros. For most athletes, the Amazfit is enough. It has the tracking, monitoring, and endurance that should embarrass Apple and Samsung from their overpriced high horses. And by the way, if you're wondering why I didn't put the Pace Pro against the Cheetah Pro, believe me, I tried. Like, I asked 3 times and Amazfit sent me the standard Cheetah instead. So yeah, I'll keep asking and maybe I can do a follow-up video for you guys. But anyways, if you like this little side-by-side, remember to thumbs up this video, subscribe, and all of that kind of such. And if you didn't, like it anyway so I can, continue making videos and improve along the way. Thank you to Amazfit and Coros for sending me these units for me to share with you guys. And remember to do something loving and kind for somebody in this world, guys, because guess what? The world outside there needs it more than ever, and it starts with you. I love you very much. Peace out and God bless.